A mother is going to head to head with the Boy Scouts of America after she said she was discriminated for breastfeeding. We'll have that coming up next.
Also, coming up tonight at 6, the family of a woman killed by an undocumented immigrant is now pushing for new laws to prevent the same thing from happening again.
After coming back from the brink of extinction, the Connecticut Audubon Society needs your help to keep track of a bird of prey.
There's something about the meat you're grilling this summer that you might not have known before, but now you do because of a new label. I'm Kent Pierce. I'll tell you all about mechanical tenderizing and what it means for you coming up.
A mother breastfeeding her child at a Boy Scout meeting says she was shamed.
It's a story from Tennessee that's gone viral. Jessica Jangula spoke with the woman and the Boy Scouts Council.
Jasmine Miller says she's breastfed her children at Boy Scouting events for the last 3 years. There were no issues until 2 weeks ago when she says she was feeding her 1-year-old at a troop meeting. That's when she says a female troop leader tried to stop her.
I was continually told that I was inappropriate.
So she went to the Middle Tennessee Council, which oversees her oldest son's Boy Scout troop, for help, knowing she was within her legal right. But instead, she received a letter asking her to cover up or leave the room because, quote, some scouts and/or families are simply uncomfortable with public breastfeeding. Miller says she was feeding her 1-year-old in the back of the room and that her breast was covered using the two-shirt method.
And I was very, very shocked at the response that I got because he sided with him and he still asked me to violate, my rights.
Tennessee's breastfeeding rate is below the national average, and only 15% of Tennessee moms breastfeed until the age recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is 12 months old. Miller says she knows why.
You see what happens. You get blasted for breastfeeding your child.
We tried to get the Middle Tennessee Council's side of the story. The Scout executive gave us this statement. We are continuing to evaluate this matter. Though the BSA does not have an official policy or position, our intent is to facilitate an amicable resolution.
An online group called Nashville Moms planning to do a nurse-in to support her. They say they will all breastfeed their children at the Boy Scouts headquarters next Saturday. News 8 at 6 starts now.
Live, News 8 at 6 starts now.
To hear how she died again that's just awful. It should never have happened.
A heartbreaking mother reliving the pain of losing her daughter. Now she's pushing lawmakers for change.
And there's plans to build a huge 7-story structure, what's to being called New Haven's greatest asset. I'm Jason Newton. Coming up, we'll explain some concerns that city officials have with the project.
And we have your back tonight explaining new meat labels and what you need to know to stay safe from bacteria. A Haitian man convicted of murder gets 60 years in prison for murdering a woman from Norwich. Good evening, I'm Ann Nyberg.
And I'm Scott McDonald. As News 8's Tina Dittel tells us, the parents of the victim now pushing lawmakers for changes to immigration laws. She has more tonight on this developing story.
This was a very difficult day for Wendy Hartling. Today, she was able to address directly her daughter's killer. 41-year-old Jean-Jacques sat and listened as Wendy Hartling called him a coward and talked about how she will never see her daughter Casey Chadwick again. Jacques was convicted of murdering Chadwick by stabbing her several times in her head and neck. He then addressed the judge and Chadwick's family, proclaiming his innocence, saying he and Casey were good friends and he would never kill Casey.
I felt like jumping over and smacking him, actually, to tell you the truth, because what he said, he was saying so many horrible things, just so many untruths he was trying to sell to the judge.
The judge didn't buy it, sentencing Jacques to the maximum 60 years in prison.
It's the best we could hope for, and we got it, and he'll never get out. Never.
Jacques had been out on probation for just 5 months after serving time for attempted murder when he killed Chadwick. He is an illegal immigrant from Haiti, but he was never deported after serving that first prison sentence.
We're trying to raise the issue of why deportation failed.
Hartling now finds herself as an unlikely advocate for a cause many others who knew her daughter have now joined.
We hope that from this tragedy, there'll be a greater awareness of how deportation of immigrants who commit serious crimes here is failing.
Right now, there is no Casey's Law, but certainly friends and family who have gathered at the court today hope someday there will be. In New London, Tina Dittel, News 8.
19-year-old Christopher Plaskin, the teen convicted of stabbing his classmate to death, has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. Prosecutors say Plaskin stabbed 16-year-old Maren Sanchez in the hallway of Jonathan Law High School after she rejected his prom invitation in 2014. Plaskin showed no emotion in Milford Superior Court. The judge said factors that were taken into consideration, including his age, mental development, and mental issues. For the first time, we're hearing publicly from the teen's parents. Her father, Jose, spoke outside the courthouse.
We've had an epidemic of issues at schools, and the messages that we're sending are lenient sentences. I'm sorry. I honestly don't think that it's doing justice.
Because Plaskin has already served 2 years behind bars, his attorney says he's eligible for parole in 13 years.
Happening right now. Public hearing being held on proposed construction of a new parking garage in New Haven. The garage will be built on an existing parking lot. It would be located right next to the rail lines right there on Union Ave. News 8's Jason Newton live at the public hearing right now with what the city's transportation department is saying about this and how it could affect that entire area. Jason, what's the latest?
Yeah, Scott, that's right. There's already a surface parking lot on the land in question that can fit over 200 cars, plus the existing parking garage that was built about 30 years ago. But these plans call for a massive 7-story structure that would be built right next to what's being called New Haven's greatest asset, which is Union Station. Now, this is all according to a traffic study that was conducted that says that parking is near 100% 5 days out of the week. That would be Monday to Friday at the current facilities over by the train station. This facility is said to have the capacity to fit at least 700 cars in it, maybe even up to 1,000. So tonight, city officials will discuss the impacts that this project could have on the overall environment, in particular air quality impacts with all those new vehicles. They also will explore whether this could serve as the new Connecticut bus depot for the city of New Haven instead of the current location right now where the bus depot is on the New Haven Green. But this project will potentially add hundreds, maybe even thousands of cars to the streets in New Haven. And this is a city that is working towards a more pedestrian-friendly, mass transit-oriented future. Another reason for concern from city officials with this project.
And what sort of impact will 700 cars, additional cars, be on Union Avenue? It's Route 1. It's an important corridor for the city of New Haven, and we need to make sure that we do more to mitigate those traffic impacts of additional 700 cars a day driving along Route 1.
And so the Connecticut Department of Transportation commissioned an environmental study. The 200-page results is what will be discussed at a meeting here at Gateway Community College, which is underway right now. So we're going to step inside and we're going to see what they have to say, and we're going to report back later on News 8 with their findings. For now, we are live in New Haven. Jason Newton, News 8.
All right, Jason, remember you can get the latest developments on the stories we're covering by downloading the free News 8 app.
New developments in the embattled Hartford Yard Goat Stadium construction. Mayor Luke Bronin is terminating the agreement with the construction company because the developers missed 2 deadlines, and now they say they need another 60 days to meet building codes. The $63 million minor league stadium was supposed to be completed by mid-May. Now the insurance company is going to come in and figure out a way to finish it. The Yard Goats have already played half the season without a home ballpark.
And today, many across the world remembering D-Day. On June 6, 1944, more than 150,000 U.S., British, and Canadian forces stormed 5 beaches in Normandy, France to fight the Nazi regime. An estimated 10,000 Allied soldiers died in the attack, which was the largest amphibious invasion in history. And commemorations were held at World War II memorials all across the nation, including the National World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., where a wreath was laid for all those who died or are missing. A Newington man who stormed the beaches of Normandy spoke with us. You can find his story and others at our website, WTNH.com. Turning to the forecast now, a gorgeous spring day. It was a little windy out there. Did you notice that, Ann?
It was, but boy, was it gorgeous. But some cooler weather is on the way. Let's go right to Fred. Fred.
Yeah, delightful breeze out there. Today, still blue sky in New London right now. Beautiful weather. 71 in New London, definitely the cool spot right now in Connecticut. Temperatures elsewhere, mid to upper 70s along the shoreline and some 80s as you head inland. One thing you may have noticed today, not a lot of humidity out there. The dew point is right around 60 at the shoreline, but for most of the day, it was in the 50s, which is pretty comfortable. A few clouds developing late this afternoon, and off to our west, we have a little disturbance here that we'll be watching overnight tonight. You see just a couple of showers back there in central PA, and that disturbance heading our way late tonight. So hour by hour we go. Partly cloudy skies for us this evening. It stays warm to mild out there. You see a couple of showers trying to flare up over Long Island Sound overnight. There's a better chance, though, of some showers arriving around dawn or shortly after as we start the day tomorrow with temperatures that'll be relatively mild in the mid to upper 60s. No weather worries, I don't think, for us, though. This evening, 74 at the shoreline, 7 o'clock, 82 inland. By 11 o'clock, it's 68 at the shoreline and around 72 inland. Again, a shower threat for us late tonight, and that's the first of several chances of seeing some rain with some thunderstorms as well through the middle of this week. I'll outline everything you need to know about the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks so much for your weather on the go. Don't forget to download the free Storm Team 8 app. It's all your localized weather in the palm of your hand.
And a new label that could affect what meat you decide to buy at the store. We're going to have much more on that story coming up on News 8 at 6.
Raising money for a good cause just by dining out. We'll tell you about that.
And how you can help track a bird that was on the brink of extinction. It's a fascinating story. We'll have much more when News 8 at 6 comes back. And welcome back, everyone. Those dining at a popular shoreline restaurant got to help out the Special Olympics today. Brantford cops volunteered as waiters and waitresses at Lenny's restaurant for the annual Tip-A-Cop event. Officers serve food, wait on tables, and raffle off prizes donated by many of Brantford's local businesses. The tips collected go to the Special Olympics of Connecticut.
It's a good time. We have a lot of fun, raise the money, and to be with the athletes, we have a great time. What's better than this?
To the TV. That was Lieutenant Patrick O'Malley dressed up as a lobster for the cause. Hoping to raise $15,000 today. The Brantford Tip-A-Cop event, the longest running Tip-A-Cop in Connecticut.
If you like to go bird watching, you could actually help out the Connecticut Audubon Society the next time you go out. They're asking for volunteers to observe local osprey nests, which several decades ago were on the brink of extinction. They just need you to take a few notes and send it back to them once every 2 weeks. They actually have a list of nests that aren't being monitored on their website. You can find out how to contact them to volunteer on WTNH.com.
Up ahead, certain kinds of meat could carry a higher risk of bacteria. That's the reason for new labeling of meat products. We're going to explain what it all means coming up. But first, Fred.
Sunshine today, nice and warm out there. Scott, tracking some showers off to our west. Showers and storms, the theme for the middle of the week. I'll tell you what to expect and check in on Tropical Storm Colin coming up.
Has driving become dangerous for an elderly person you know? A new initiative to help spark the conversation regarding when it's time to stop driving. Tonight, we'll take a closer look.
And if you are about to grill up some steaks for dinner, you want to hear this story. There's a warning that some types of meat could make your family sick from the way it's processed. News 8's Kent Pierce explains.
For years now, there's been something going on with some of the meat that you buy in the store that you probably didn't know about. It's called mechanical tenderization or blade tenderization. And as of 3 weeks ago, the companies that do it to their meat now have to label it right there on the packaging. Here's what mechanical tenderizing does. They take a bunch of sharp needles or small blades and stick them into the meat. It breaks up the muscle tissue, makes the meat more tender, easier to chew. Here's the problem with that, though. A piece of meat can sometimes have pathogens or bacteria on the outside, salmonella, E. coli, something like that. On a normal piece of meat, that gets burned off of the outside by the flames of the grill. If there are little needles that have been stuck into the meat, however, that can carry the pathogens from the surface of the meat down into the inside.
Now, unless you like your steak well done, the middle does not usually get hot enough to kill the bad stuff. That's why these new labels are so important. They not only identify which meats are blade tenderized, but they also tell you what to do to keep from getting sick.
I think that consumers have to do a little bit of looking on the label. They might not even look at the label if they're used to buying meat, but it's pretty clear on the label temperatures to cook the meat at and what consumers should be looking for in order to help reduce risk of foodborne illness.
The labels say what registered dietitians like her have been saying for years: cook the meat to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. You just have to stick a meat thermometer in there to find out. The CDC says there have been 6 outbreaks of foodborne illness in the past 15 years that can be directly linked to mechanical tenderization. One of them caused a big recall in 2009 when one person got a potentially fatal kidney disease.
Now, 160 degrees interior temperature means a pretty well done steak. If you like yours medium rare like I do, our Yale dietitian says, tough. That's not the way to eat it. She says the only way to make sure that even a non-mechanically tenderized piece of meat is completely free of foodborne illnesses is to make sure it's cooked all the way through. In the News 8 parking lot, I'm your grill master, Kent Pierce, News 8.
There we go. They might need to fire that grill up. Anne's hungry over here.
I know, right?
Make mine medium rare anyway.
You know, I know, right? I like it burned, but that's just me. All right, so the weather, awesome.
Yeah, I got a great night to get the grill going tonight.
Sure,
Temperatures
sure.
Still in the 70s and 80s out there. Beautiful. Waterbury, we saw a few more clouds an hour ago than we're seeing right now. More blue sky with the temperature around 81 degrees. Elsewhere, shoreline towns are in the mid to upper 70s. Finding some low 80s, though, as you head inland. Still 84 for West Hartford. Had these clouds flaring up about an hour ago. Now they are dissipating. More clouds, and these have some showers in them in central Pennsylvania and western PA all the way back into Ohio. This disturbance on the way, slated to arrive late tonight, early tomorrow, might have enough punch in it that we see a few showers to start the day tomorrow. A second disturbance is going to spin around this upper level area of low pressure that you see way up in central Canada. That'll spin through probably late in the day tomorrow, and that gives us a renewed threat of some showers and some storms. Rain, thunderstorms, some torrential downpours as Tropical Storm Colin gets closer to Florida. Should be moving on shore within the next hour or two. It was, at last check, only 70 miles from Apalachicola, and it will be crossing the northern part of Florida overnight tonight and getting out into the Atlantic Ocean by early tomorrow. Winds of 50 miles per hour. The main threat from this storm, 2 to 4 inches of rain in parts of Florida. And as we hit the midday hours tomorrow, it's moving off of Cape Hatteras with winds of 60 miles per hour as it loses its tropical characteristics. It never comes close enough, though, to New England to have any kind of impact, just kind of harmlessly scooting out to sea as a small but pretty potent post-tropical storm in the middle of the week. Let's go hour by hour through the next couple of days. You can see just stray showers possible for us early tomorrow, and we break into some sunshine and the temperature gets up into the 80s again in many spots, and another renewed threat of showers and thunderstorms for us late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Quiet down tomorrow night, but on Wednesday, showers and storms may return by late in the morning. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible during the afternoon as it turns cooler, and that cool weather stays with us through the end of the work week. Slight chance of a shower late tonight, 65 at the shoreline, about 62 inland. Tomorrow, maybe an early morning shower or thunderstorm, and by 9 in the morning, mostly cloudy, partly cloudy at 11 in the morning, 75 to 80, and showers and storms possible again by late in the afternoon as temperatures warm up into the low to mid 80s. So over the next couple of days, pretty good chance that you'll see at least one shower or thunderstorm coming through. Lightning, moderate threat, as well as hail, especially on Wednesday because of the cool air that is going to be in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Check out the Shoreline 8-day forecast, and that cool air settles right in for Thursday and Friday, at least relatively speaking. Low temperatures, upper 40s to low 50s. Highs may struggle to get to 70 on Thursday, only in the low 70s on Friday, so pleasant conditions, just not as warm as you'd expect in mid-June. Looking ahead to the weekend, best chance of some showers, and it doesn't look like a washout Saturday night.
Okay. Thanks, Fred.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Time for sports. Here's John.
Live, this is Sports Edge, sponsored by your local Connecticut Chevy dealers.
Well, a couple of high school softball teams have already played their way into the championship. Cheshire will have a chance to make up for last year's loss in the title game. In West Haven, the Rams and Norwich Free Academy met in the Class XL semifinals. Both schools got runners in scoring position. Had trouble pushing runs across, though. Abby Abramson getting out of some trouble there. Elizabeth Fleming of the Wildcats also got in some trouble. Check out the play here on the bunt. 2 outs, runners on second and third. She does it all by herself. Eventually in the fourth, there's some scoring done in this game. Sophomore Sarah Mulligan with 2 outs. She comes up clutch. The run-scoring single gives Cheshire a 2-0 lead. That was the final. The Rams await the winner of tonight's Southington-Amity game. Class M semifinal action. Seymour taking on Stonington up in Meriden. Softball and a lollipop. Not a bad day, right? No score in the second inning. The Wildcats get 2 runs. Tori Kellogg with the infield single. Cassie Rossetti's going to score. It's 2-zip Seymour. It was 3-zip in the fourth. Bears get 1 back. Abby Flakus singles up the middle. Cameron Dreer comes around to score and make it 3-1, but too much Seymour in the end. They score 7 runs in the last few innings to blow it open. Final score 10-1. Wildcats get the winner of Rocky Hill and St. Joe's. A big award for Fitch softball head coach Ariel Cooper. Today, she was named the Connecticut High School Coaches Association Softball Coach of the Year. Cooper led the Falcons to a perfect regular season record, an ECC Conference Championship. Fitch will play Torrington tomorrow in the Class L semifinals. Going to take a break. When we come back, Kevin Ollie making a difference in the community. See what the UConn head coach did for boys and girls in Hartford. UConn basketball coach Kevin Ollie is using his profile to give back. Today in Hartford, the head Husky opened the first of his Kevin's courts. They are wheelchair accessible and disabled basketball courts. The first of Ollie's gifts went to the Boys and Girls Club in Hartford. Instead of cutting down the nets like Ollie did with his national championship team, they hung nets to christen the court. The dedication was also followed by a wheelchair basketball clinic.
This is a start. Anybody know me, just like when I won the national championship, you want to feel that feeling again. And this takes the place of any national championship that I can possibly have. Like I say, with the birth of my kids and this is probably one of the highlights of my life.
And he's not done. Ollie said this is the first of many courts he plans to dedicate. You have to love seeing Kevin Ollie, all the coaches up there, use their profile to make a
neat
difference.
is that?
Yeah, it's great.
That's terrific.
Yeah, very cool.
John.
They're going to be able to get out there and play this week. We're looking at a pretty mild, nice week, right, Fred?
Yeah, pretty quiet overall. Some pop-up showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. You can get more on that at WTNH.com. Looking ahead, though, to the weekend, a little cool for June. Temperature about 73 degrees on Saturday as it becomes mostly cloudy. Right now, it looks like the best chance of any showers this weekend, Saturday night into early Sunday. I'd say that by mid-morning on Sunday, we should see those showers moving away. It becomes partly cloudy Sunday afternoon with a high temperature of about 74 degrees. So overall, that's not a bad weekend forecast. Again, in the next couple of days, pop-up showers and thunderstorms are possible tomorrow during the afternoon and evening, and then again around midday on Wednesday. Some of those showers and storms could contain some gusty winds and a little bit of hail as well.
All right. Because you've got games this week, right? Are we moving towards championships?
We're championship weekend, Friday and Saturday. So I'm just wondering if Fred's getting ready to do sports next week. That bet we made.
Right. I forgot about
looking
that.
too good.
I'm ready.
We didn't forget about that. We'll have details coming up. All right, that's our time. Remember, you can get the latest news, weather, and traffic online anytime at WTNH.com.
See you later. Good night.